sorry it's been so long since I last recorded and uploaded a video. You know, life has been crazy and we're all at home and we're all trying to, deal with our children. Anyway, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to talk about any negatives. I decided to get in my shed last night and record just a simple set just to kind of get the feel back again, get the camera on and, get editing and voiceover in and all of that good stuff. So I've took my red iguana posable hand and I'm just going to sculpt out 4 nails using crystal glass. So I've applied the form and I am holding the form in place because they do tend to slip. But if you don't want to hold the form, you can just put a little bit of medical tape around the finger, and then you can stick your form onto that, and that means that it won't move out of the way. So that's another way, if you don't want to hold onto it tight, that you can get your form to stick in place. So once I've sculpted all the nails, I'm just going to go ahead and file and shape them just so it's less work at the end, and just so that when I'm applying my next layers of acrylic, I'm not going to then apply it to all those bulky areas that we're just going to file away anyway. So I just do the side walls and the free edge, get a rough shape, and then just gently buff over the surface so that it's nice and smooth and even to go on with our nail art. So I'm just going to check that from the angle now, just making sure it's all nice and even and straight and the desired length that we want. And that's what they look like after they're all filed into shape. They're nice and thin. And then these are the colours we're going to be using. I'm going to be using magenta, panther, lemon curd, lemon fizz, slush fairy and crystal glass from CJP. And I'm also using the 1.2 monomer. So I'm just coming in with a small bead of that lemon fizz at the tip, and I'm going to blend it upwards. Just keeping it super thin, super soft, light touch to blend it out, because I'm going to go in with glitter on top of this. So I'm just using this as like a base to make the glitter pop. So then once I'm done with the lemon fizz, I'm going to come in with magenta, and I'm going to do the exact same thing. Just a small bead, really thin, blending it up onto the nail plate and then blending it down onto that lemon fizz. Just making sure I've got no harsh lines there. And then I'm going to come in with our glitters. So at the tip here, just a small bead again with lemon curd. Just using the tip of my brush now to kind of nudge that around into place. And then I'm going to come in with another bead of panther and do the same thing there. And then I'll just leave this to set so that I'm not going to try and do the ombre with slush fairy and then drag all of the glitter off. So just leave it for a moment to let your glitter set in place, so that way you're not going to drag it all away or move that around. So just make sure as well that you're using your belly of your brush to kind of flatten it down so it's no bits are like sticking up and it's all nice and flat to the nail. And I'm just basically going to do the exact same process on all of these nails. So applying the lemon fizz, blending it back upwards, using really light feather touch, cleaning up the sides, and then we're going to come in and do the same with magenta. So you can see just a really small bead, just to get some of that colour there, blending it upwards, and then we're going to go in with our glitters. At the moment now I'm using the Tracy Lou size 10 brush. I did start off using my big boy, but I've actually just ruined it by pulling out some acrylic that I had stuck in, and then I ruined the bristles, so I've gone to use the Tracy Lou size 10 brush, and it's really lovely. I love it. Really nice to use. So again, just going to do them glitters, keep it really nice and thin, nice and flat. So whilst I'm doing that, again, just want to take this moment to ask how you are all doing. Please let me know how you are surviving in the comments. I hope that you're all really well and haven't been struck down with the virus, or are not feeling any if you've not had any family members or anything. I hope everyone is doing good, because that's the most important thing right now, isn't it? Is our health. and hopefully we can start all getting back to doing what we love real soon. The weather here in England has been really, really nice, so it's been quite nice to just sit in the garden with the children. That was the neighbour you heard. In the garden and just enjoying the family time with them. So I'll let you watch rather than blabbing on. Leave in the comments what you're up to, how you've been. Yeah, and I'll let you watch. I'll come back in a moment. So now I'm going to create the ombre with Slush Fairy. So I'm placing that bead at the cuticle. I'm just kind of pushing it up, like nudging it up to the cuticle, and then tilting my brush up. So the tip of that brush is behind the back of that bead, so it's nice and flush at the cuticle area. And then I kind of avoid the bulk and just blend down the very front end of that bead down onto that glitter, because I don't want to cover all the glitter, but I do want it to look seamlessly so it fades up really nicely. So again, I'm placing that bead, wiping my brush, kind of nudging it up, and then getting my bristles behind the back of that bead, blending it down, and then avoiding the bulk and just blending the front end of that bead down. And in a minute I do show from a side view, so I moved my camera from a side angle so you could see exactly how I was moving my brush, exactly how I'm picking up the bead. So place the bead on, wipe away your brush, nudge it up, get your bristles behind the back of that bead, pat it out to each side, tucking it in at the sidewalls and the cuticle, avoiding the bulk of the bead, and then just blending down the front end of that bead. I'm dipping my brush in, wiping away most of the monomer because I don't want a big bead, dipping it into the powder, and then I'm just placing that bead on, straight on, wiping away my brush, nudging the bead up gently towards the cuticle area, and then just tucking the tip of those bristles behind that bead and around those sidewalls, leaving the bulk in the back third there, and just gently feathering the front end of that Slush Fairy down onto the glitter. And then we're going to cap the nail. So I pick up my beads differently when I encapsulate. So I just dunk once and wipe once, because I want, well, especially if the nail is long like this is. And I'm just really capping where the glitter is. So I'm placing that bead on at the apex, tapping it out and brushing it down at the side, and then I'm just going to walk that bead down by patting and pressing from side to side each time. If that makes sense. So I'm placing it on, pat 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 over to the other side, bringing it in at the sidewalls, then pat 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 over to the other side, and just as I'm patting, I'm pulling, so I'm basically walking that bead down the entirety of the nail. And if you need to go in and apply more product, you can go ahead and do that. Don't stress if the bead doesn't kind of fully get to the end of that nail. You can just blend it in and then come back in with some more product to fully encapsulate the nail. And I didn't take that right up to the Slush Fairy because that is our core powder, and I built a nice apex with that in the back third. So I'm only really capping from where the glitter starts. So again, tap tap, I've just sped this up as well. I don't think you need to see in full motion how I do each and other nails, as we've already seen one. So I'll let you watch and come back when we come to file. So this is what the nails look like after they've all been applied. So I haven't filed, just applied. So let's go ahead and file them nicely. So I'm taking my file and I will file the side walls and the free edge with a nice flat file so I get them nice and crisp. Side, side, and free edge, and I do this on all of the nails. So if I'm on a client, I will do this from little finger to little finger on the other hand, all the way across. And then I come in with my smooth top e-file bit from Nail Dot Supplies, and I just kind of whiz over the whole entire nail, making sure it's all nice and smooth and even. And then if I have to, I'll come in again and just refine and clean it up with my hand file. And it is at that point that I'll swap my client's hand, so her hand is facing me, so the nails are facing me from her view, and just really crispen up as much as I can with my hand file, so we know that the nail shape is the best we can get. So here's what the nails look like now they've been all filed. And now we're ready to go in and top coat. I have cleaned away all of the dust, and the top coat that I'm using is CJP Time to Shine Top Glass. It is my new favourite top glass. It's like thicker, it's so shiny, it's beautiful. So I do a nice coat of that on all of the nails, and I'll cure in the lamp for 60 seconds and just give it a minute to cool down before you go in and touch it or apply cuticle oil, just so it can cool down and we can maximise that shine. And then I will go ahead and put cuticle oil on around the cuticles just to kind of replenish the nutrients that you've dehydrated out when you're doing a service. And I do it on this hand just because it makes it look better for pictures. But that is the end of the video. There's the final look. I really hope you've enjoyed this simple video. I have missed you all so much, and I do hope to get back into the swing of doing videos. If there's anything you'd like to see, let me know in the comments. I hope you're keeping safe and well, and I'll see you all again in the next one. Bye!